Hello everybody, and today we're going to be reacting to, here goes a long name, The Legend of the World of the Legend of Vox Machina.
Yes, that
Beautiful.
one.
It's so funny how they did
I love that name.
Now the first one that we just did was more about like the writing and everything, and I love that because we got more like kind of insight into who did work on the show on the writers table. So I feel like now we're going to go into the Legend of the World. So that means it's going to be world building, how Matt Mercer and everyone may have actually came up with this world. And again, when it comes to like D&D in general, I feel as if it is all not just about world building, it's also about character. But without a world for you to explore, and especially more like original type of worlds, I feel like it doesn't give atmosphere. And basically what we've seen in the animation of Vox is there was a huge world for us to go and explore. And so that's why I can't wait for Campaign 2 to see what kind of world that Matt Mercer did kind of build with this team. So let's just jump into it. Here we go. Move out of the way, Vegeta.
Yeah.
He's going to be recurring, so get used to him.
Rooms and taverns and courts, locations and color palettes. It's gorgeous. It's epic.
It's beyond all expectations.
To see it all for the first time,
I love her voice.
Ellie! I started crying because I was like, I can't believe this is real.
Aww. The name is so good. I love it.
The trajectory of this story over the years has constantly defied our expectations. The size and the scale of it has felt so large and sweeping to us in our minds. And so you think, what could possibly live up to it? And the team at Titmouse has really been answering the call.
Titmouse is one of the best animation studios around. Period. They check all the boxes. They've got
He's a permanent smile.
up the wazoo. They've worked on funny shows, dramatic shows. They've done it all.
It truly feels like a company made of nerds. We instantly felt a kinship and a shared language. It kind of lowered the barrier to entry.
The people at the top who define the culture and the attitude of the studio are themselves huge nerds.
They're so happy.
Then this is kind of the dream project because we're sort of living out our dream of finally getting to create.
See, like-minded people.
Exactly.
It's the chemistry.
You know, something that we created and turned into something completely different. They want to honor
Her range.
Oh, I know, it's crazy.
Her range is just like.
We're excited to have it happening.
I'm proud to count myself among the critics. I was one of the 90,000 in the project in the first place.
Hell yeah.
I had no idea I was going to be on it.
I remember very distinctly getting my eyes on some of Arthur Loftus, our art director's first background pieces.
Oh my god, dude.
He's a professional artist and designer. He's also a big critical role thing.
Hell yeah.
So
That's what matters.
Somebody who really knows the show, who's designing things.
So he's gonna put everything he has into it.
Even Matt Mercer's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, but Arthur has it. He's put it in the show.
Because he's a fan.
You just don't get in any animated series. Usually the executive producer has to explain to the art director the feeling that he's trying to evoke or she's trying to evoke. But
See, that's what you want. You want everybody on the team to have as much passion for it.
The vision does come from Arthur, but then what I add to it is how to make the world seem really
I see a Zelda.
alive,
Yeah.
believable. My role as supervising director is to really coordinate work with the story team. We're literally translating idea into visual.
Because you could have so many ideas, but you need somebody to translate that.
Make the world feel that much more integrated.
Sunjin works on all the episodes, and he's got the big picture, the 10,000-foot view about where the story is going over the course of the season, where the story is going over the course of the series.
He is so dedicated to making sure that it feels right for the Legend of Vox Machina.
I've never felt more confident in letting other people handle a vision.
Aww. That's hard to do.
I know.
Oh,
I love maps.
Locations that we explored in the original Vox Machina campaign that we played through live. Locations like Iman.
Iman is very much the central fantasy metropolis of this continent, at least from a human society standpoint. And so these first episodes really kind of introduce us to that place.
The initial sketches that Arthur did of Iman
So
were
cool.
striking and so epic in scale.
Oh my
and scope
that
we had to go back and look at Matt's original drawings and be like, is this right? Does
Is
this
this-
match? And it does. He took what
Damn.
he did on a 2D piece of paper and turned
Wow.
it into a 3D world.
Oh my god.
Of Iman compared to other fantasy cities that you know, like Rivendell, there's going to be a certain familiarity
Oh, that's cool.
to Amon because it's kind of like a fantasy
Wow.
New York. Elements to it that I think everyone can recognize.
Yeah, that's
Stylistically,
funny.
we just wanted to give people a nice
Oh my
way to
God.
sort of slip into this medieval fantasy
Holy
world
crap.
without being
How long did this
too
take him?
Probably
challenged with
hours and
the
days.
It's the little details.
Beyond Amon, there are a few locations that we get to explore in the animated series first season. Early in, we get to visit the Shale Steps, which is a place that was not seen in the campaign stream-wise. It's a coastal fishing city among a unique-looking cliff range that itself looks like waves frozen in the motion of crashing onto the shore.
And then Vox Machina, as you know, makes a journey from Amon to Whitestone. And even the journey that they take, Arthur has taken, again, early maps that map
Oh
That's
my
so
god.
places with transitions from forest to desert to jungle to mountain.
We're looking at different landscapes existing in the real world.
Like the notes that he must have taken.
And sort of assigning them locations within the critical world.
Holy crap.
For example, when we get closer to Whitestone, things look a bit more like Yosemite. It's the Alabaster Sierras, so we picked from the actual High Sierras and took those shapes and the way the trees look and the way the vegetation spreads across them and assigned it. Our other large location for season 1 is going to be Whitestone. The architectural language we really wanted to play with and make sure that it felt authentic.
He went back into the history of the world and the history of the
Oh my
continent and thought, if people had sailed here via boat,
That is dedication.
Yeah.
That is the passion.
This feeling of like a ship's bow coming out of the ground, all the rooftops.
That's
have
why
sort of
that's why
that
it's such a
floating
I know.
ship's hull.
Because you can tell everybody was in it.
something that none of us would have ever thought
It's
about.
a humble venture. That's what it is. Like
Can't really mention the city of Whitestone without mentioning the Sun Tree.
The first time I saw
Ooh.
the Sun Tree was so epic.
Some fantastic iterations of the Sun Tree. What Arthur dropped on us the first time that we saw the Sun Tree literally made our jaws drop.
I'm
No.
personally more a fan of the small ones, so the almost goods.
It's
The most
something
good.
that we've pictured in our head for so long. Like what
That's
the
so
most
true, yeah.
this looks like. There's so much detail. It's very specific. That was another thing that kind of took me by surprise is sort of the work that everyone put in to understand
oh my
the
god.
world that we've been playing in for the past 5 years. And it's beautiful. It's so good.
Especially because it's been with them for
I
that
know.
long. Like it's like
each other, and we've gone to great lengths to make sure that every element we
Look at
include
that.
in every
That's beautiful.
scene really expresses the world as clearly.
You know, and when you're watching it, like some people don't notice like some little details. When you look back, you're like,
You
this
really feel like
passion.
these are drawings of real places and not just a quick sketch of a random temple. All starts on paper, a bunch of just
Holy.
words describing characters in a story. Then we start to try and visualize it with Arthur's team.
It's a multi-stage process. We start with storyboards that we're working off of that sort of give us an idea of what the shot is, where characters are going to be standing, and what the general action of the scene is. And then a background designer is going to take that storyboard and just
no.
really composition, figure out what design elements we want in there.
That's
The
amazing.
background painter takes it next, adds lighting. That
Oh.
lighting
Whoa.
is used to enhance the storytelling moment.
A really good background by itself, without anything else, evokes emotion. It tells you instantly
Yes.
what the scene is going to be like.
It's a lot like a DP for live action. You're trying to express what the story is telling you through light and color.
When it comes, not even just to animation, but film in general, framing is everything. Wherever you place your characters, wherever you place your action is going to have an intense impact on how the audience feels and how the audience relates to what's happening. It's wild to do all these different things and then have them slowly converge into one final piece of media.
We have many, many more months of production ahead of us.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty of it.
It's a never-ending circle of work and creativity and energy that's going into the series.
Finally, all of this work, it's all come to fruition.
We really try to elevate ourselves to create an animated show that we've never done before.
I think the fans and critters are going to be floored by
We gotta see the
Yeah.
first trailer.
I think someone put it in the last comments.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
thank you, because we
you.
definitely gotta watch that. All right, so this is what's important. Okay, details are what matter. Okay, and it's like whenever you watch a show, like to give an example, we're doing reactions. Well, I'm doing re-reactions to the show Canon, and Tat's doing her first time reactions to it. And that show has so many little details about foreshadowing and what actually might happen to its characters so early on. And because it's my rewatch, I just realized how good they are with like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So like. Again, it's the details. Like if you don't have all these details within a show, it's especially because like the diehard fans are gonna notice it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they were saying before. You want to set the scene, and if you want to set your scene, it's basically kind of a way you want to have these props and this and that. But it's different than animation because you got to draw everything.
Yeah, and what they were saying about like where you place your characters, so
Yeah.
true. The first movie I thought of when they said that was The Prince of Egypt, which
Yes.
you reacted to.
Yes.
They did so well with placing the
I know.
characters to make you feel something. And it's like if you have your characters just like in the center for
Yeah.
every scene, it kind of takes away from the emotion. So
Yeah.
that is something like all the artists and everyone working together have to like think about too. Is like where's your character gonna
I know.
stand at the scene?
And you know, is it something I really did appreciate seeing with this is they're all fans. Like they
That's
have,
the thing.
Like they
Yeah.
were first fans, and then they're like, "Oh my god, I'm actually working on this project." So that's why if you're working on any project, no matter what it is, it's like find like-minded people. You know, even if somebody has like the best animation in the world, if you're working on like some kind of animated series, if there's no chemistry and if it
Right.
doesn't click, it's just like with writing. Like writing is so important when it comes to story because that's kind of in a way. That's the foundation,
Yeah.
and that's what makes the story move forward. But the animation is the aesthetic. That's what people see. So it's like in general, if you're making something like this, you want to make sure that you're working with people who understand your vision.
Right, and it doesn't have to be someone with huge
Yeah.
numbers or anything. Like we work with a lot of artists,
Yeah.
who don't, like we said in the last episode, who don't have that like
Exactly.
huge following, but it's like they see our vision when we tell them what we want.
And you know what? It's that thing too. It's like I've noticed like a lot of YouTubers or people in general, like either they'll have like contests and be like, "Ooh, do this for free,"
Yeah.
and they'll try to make their fans like do things for free, which I don't believe in at all because artists should always
Yes.
be paid. Or they try to find someone with huge numbers just to be able to get themselves out
Yeah.
there on the artist account. But that's wrong. You want to know why? It's because that's not a vision. Like Matt Mercer was saying, he's like, it's like I had someone do this for my vision. Like this is the first time I felt so comfortable someone to take my actual vision. Like he was saying too, like, oh, he would know things more than I did. You know, it's like, that's why you have to have like-minded people. It doesn't matter about someone's following size. It matters about the talent and if you connect. If there's no chemistry, and it doesn't even have to be like writing to animation. This could be with anything. This could be from like, I don't even know, like a live action film, or even
Right.
if you're writing with somebody. If there's no chemistry,
It's not gonna work.
it's not going to work.
Because it's so hard,
It's not
especially if
gonna
you're
work.
like the original creator. It's so hard to give
To
your
let go,
project
yes.
because it becomes like your child. Like when you write something or draw
Exactly.
something, it's literally your child. And when you give it into someone else's hands, it's like you want to make sure that you guys are on the same page
Yeah.
because they might like completely butcher your like hard work.
Yeah. And that's like with us, like we have a ton of like OCs and stories that we're gonna be telling, but it's like when we have artists draw certain
Yeah.
things, we're very, very specific because it's like the details are what matter. It's kind of in a way, like you were saying, it is like a child, but your
Yeah.
characters themselves, it's like if you've had them for as long as they did with like 5 years,
Yeah.
it's like that you become those characters. You have those characters with you and beside you on all these adventures, and it's not just like, oh, because some people might just be like, oh, like G&D is like playing pretend and just like no, grow up. It's like no, it's not that at all. Like this is different. This is in a way, it's like you are bonding with a character. You're with them for so long, and I've heard like, you know, we both heard like with your stories that you have told, like there was one campaign that lasted for like what, like 10, 15
Yeah.
years, and it's like that is like half your life. And with us, like, we've had our OCs for how long?
Literally like our
Like,
entire
our
life.
entire
Since we
life.
were like 10.
Our entire, and it's like to be able to connect with you guys too, like to see like-minded people. Like we're not lying when we say we feel so much more comfortable
Yeah,
with
seriously.
our audience now than we did a few months ago because you guys are so like-minded with us, and you understand when it comes to like OCs and creation, and especially with writing, you know. And that's why like what we're doing too is like we're like providing like sex stories.
Yeah.
We're providing basically like writing courses for people because you guys have said to us that like some of our advice as crazy sisters on the couch have helped you with your like your thesis and everything.
Yeah.
And like that is honestly like some of the best things someone has ever said to us because we're literally just two crazy sisters on the couch.
Yeah.
As if you look at it, that's all we are. But it's like the humbleness with this project, like I said in like the last episode, like it is so great to see. All of them are just so kind-hearted and humble people, and that's what makes it stand out. You know, some people might be thinking like, oh, you know, get the big shot right away. It's like, no, it's not how it like works in life. Like,
and like you could
it's-
tell, like because a lot of companies and like show creators do kind of like this documentary based
Yes.
stuff, but you could tell when they're sincere, and you could tell all of them just like, oh, like when we saw the tree, like I wanted to cry, like
Yeah.
all of them, it's like you could tell that this means so much to them. And like a lot of times, like the creators, like it'll start off as a passion project and then it'll become something that's like just a money grab. And you can tell that this is not that at all.
And that's the thing too, is like you'll see it happen with everything. It's like even like something that starts off so humble, it's like then after a while you start seeing it being like, oh, it's just money, it's just for money. And this again, like you see it in their eyes. Like the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And you see all of them as such nice and just kind people. Like we've never met them in person, and we would love to actually like interview them one day.
That'd be so
cool. Like on All Ages Geek, but like just seeing who they are as people, you know, they are people, you know, you see a soul that's there. It's not, because you know what tires me with even shows, like when people get interviewed about like, especially with animation, like I've seen a lot, like one person that's not like this is Rebecca Sugar, who's done like amazing work with Steven Universe, but like you'll see some shows when the creator will go on an interview, okay, and they'll go on this interview and they're just like bragging about their life and talking, it's all about them, it's not about the show. And it's like, to me, how they were talking about this, they talk about themselves and how it affects them, but then they go back to what the show's going to do for the fans, what the show's going to do for the world and for anyone within animation, how they're going to help people. And that's how you kind of, in a way, when someone literally says like, oh my God, I'm such like a loyal person to this project, isn't it weird? Like, we always say this, isn't it weird when someone says, oh, I'm so loyal to this project or loyal to this, and then suddenly like that's just sus to you? Yeah. It's like, if you're saying you're a loyal person, that doesn't make you a loyal person. You know, that's kind of being like giving yourself validation for what you want to be. And it's like you see like, and by loyal, I mean that dedication. These artists have so much dedication to this world that Matt Mercer built. And, you know, he's so humble that he's like, I'm giving you the reins. Like, go ahead. It's like, go ahead, mess around with it. I'm not going to be like extreme about it. Like he has to have some notes here and there, but he seems very lenient about it.
Right, exactly.
You know, and it felt like we were there within the studio. Like someone else that does this is like with Riot Games or League of Legends. Like they actually take you in the making behind something. And I love that.
Yes.
Like that is, I love when people make,
yeah, because I mean, if you want to jump into this world and you don't have like the resources of what it is like these 9-minute videos, it's like, okay, you're gonna see what like a studio it looks like, or you're gonna see what working with writers and artists looks like, and it kind of puts you in like your future where like if this is what you want to do, like this is something that you may see.
And I think it's like a lot of people think like, oh my God, there's so many animators out there, oh my God, there's so many writers, like it's not gonna happen for me. Listen, it'll happen for you if you keep pushing for it. Like too many people nowadays, like, they're like, oh, it didn't happen when I'm in my 20s, or I turned 20, my life is over.
They want instant fame and instant like this
glorification
and
everything.
One of the hosts on All Ages Geek Unite, his name is Ernest. He does a lot of Valorant gameplays. He said that, and it stuck with us because it's true. A lot of people like expect like instant fame when you do content creation or art or anything like that. It's like, no, you just need to keep working, and then eventually it'll work out.
And that's the thing, is like a lot of people think that it's gonna happen overnight because you have these YouTubers that explode and suddenly they're doing all this stuff. But I've noticed like a lot of the YouTubers that tend to like explode and everything, they become completely different people. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, I'm living like this LA type life, here we go, and then suddenly it's like they're completely different people, and then they start making mistakes. And it's like that humbleness that makes people human, and the humanity behind people comes from like their soul. And you see such like this presence to this project. We always talk about like how with Star Wars it has such like a godly type presence, and it has a spirit to it behind it. And it's like, you know, not to like say like to start a war here, but it's like the prequels and the OG are 10 times better than how the sequels were, because it's like Disney came behind it and was like, did their own vision, and bada bing, bada boom. It's money. Like, exactly, it was a money grab. And for me, I feel like the story, how it was, it's like there was that humbleness behind it. Like obviously OG has more of that humbleness behind it, and then, you know, the prequels came, but I'm biased because I love Anakin. But the thing is, and she loves Obi-Wan, so you can kind of get the dynamic. But when it comes to like all of this and storytelling, there's a spirit behind some shows, there's a spirit behind some movies and books, and then sometimes people just pop things out, and that it's like, you think like, are you doing it for your well-being? Are you doing this from your heart? Or are you just, I mean,
obviously you need money. Obviously. Like that is true. Like you want to make money with your creations, but if that's your driving force for your project, it's gonna fail in the future.
It's not
like
even,
it's gonna become something that the fans don't want. It's gonna become something that you're just making it to make it, and then it's gonna lose its original value.
You know, and the thing is like, if you're going to like, we've worked with people before, like when we've offered like services and everything, when people can treat you like crap. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like sometimes even if you're working with an artist, if you're working with like a writer, if you're gonna hire somebody and you're gonna treat them like hell, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah. You know, it's like everybody that you hire, like with artists, it's like artists that obviously be paid. Like there's so many, and here's a tip to any artist that's out there. If you're going to do commissions for somebody, you better put a watermark, a huge watermark on your work, saying sample or just like scribble on something, because there's too many scams going on. And what they did too is like, obviously that they are paid and properly and it's like higher than everyone's, but it's like if you're going to be an artist and you're scammed out of it, there's scam stories, people stealing your work when it comes to like Instagram. It's sad what artists have to go through nowadays. And the thing is that the best tip that we could give anybody is, if you want to support an artist, like we said before, just give them a retweet, give them a follow on social media, and just like support them in all, because you know what? You never know that you might actually make somebody's career happen for them, and you don't know where you're going to be. There's some things that we even say in reactions that people will say like years later, and we're just like, wait, we affected somebody that way? Like even happened like recently, we're just like, oh, well, that was a small detail that you noticed. But yeah, that's the thing, is like what we're trying to do here is giving more like analysis even on these behind the scenes, because it matters to us that we can, like what we're saying, like connect with like-minded people like you guys who are very humble and kind, and you want to talk about this stuff because you're so passionate about like not even just like Critical Role, but writing in general. And that's what we want to do. We want to be able to connect with people.
Yeah, so join our Discord. It's
please.
Free. We have 2 new well, they're not new now, but we have OC and stories, and then we have like we're making a role play section soon. I'm hoping to launch it in August. But join, because we're there when we can be, and we want to talk to you guys. Yeah, and it's like we love hearing your stories. Like so many people share the OCs already. It's amazing what you guys can come up with, because you know what? You might, like, some people might have not millions of followers. Some people might not be like huge as everybody else, but what matters is you are creating. And it's like that truly is what matters, because if you can create, then you can in a way motivate. As weird as that sounds, create to motivate, and motivate yourself, push yourself forward, like do the great boundaries, because everyone, even Matt Mercer, everyone has an origin story. Everyone started somewhere. Learn from your heroes, but don't become your heroes. Yeah, you don't want to copy someone else's journey.
No, and it's like, have that, because you know what? If you just explode overnight, well, that might be nice. You don't have an origin story to look back. You don't get to see how your own creations. It's like while you were creating, it helped you change, and you remember yourself in certain videos. You remember yourself in certain art pieces, and you're like, I was there this many years ago, and look how much I've grown. And that's what truly matters. Like, go on that journey for yourself and make it matter. And there's so many things that you can do to benefit yourself and your creations. Like, if you want to be a writer, like, we can give you all that advice in the world. Like, I hate when people are saying, like, we're going to keep this to yourself. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to us.
Yeah,
like,
seriously. No, seriously.
Do not be afraid.
DM us on Discord, or, like, ask questions in the YouTube comment. Like, we literally want to talk to you guys.
And the thing is, if you know anything about us, if you're new, hi, how are you doing? Please join. If we have worked with literature before we did anything with YouTube full-time. So honestly, like, we want to help people. That's why, again, we launched Steck Stories to be able to make it for like accessible for people. Because sometimes, like, with writing courses, they're like what, like $5,000 or $500 to $5,000, and I'm just like, you know what? Just because one writer gave a keynote speech, just because a writer has all these awards, at the end of the day, it's like, does that matter? It's like, yeah, it's great that you're getting awards, it's great that you're getting this publicity, but at the same time, what matters is the craft that's behind it, and that you pushed for it, and that you worked for it, and you didn't take any type of like weird shortcuts or anything. Because then you're gonna look back and be like, wow, I created this origin story for myself. So if you're a writer and you hear this, you're hearing this for a reason, and we want to help you. So please let us know. Leave a comment, join the Discord. If you have any questions at all, just be like, hey, like, sometimes it'll take us a long time to get back to you, but in time we will. And yeah, but other than this, I don't know what kind of segue to make. Other than this, we are starting Critical Role campaign number 2 soon. We're just gonna get through all of this if you didn't know, because I saw a comment, people are like, oh, I hope you continue this. Like, yes, we're reacting to all of them, and then this should be posting every single day until we get to campaign number 2, and I can't wait to see and see how it all starts. But anyway, friends, we have an amazing day. Stay weird, stay wonderful, stay awesome. Till next video, is Fangirl, my fan person, every single day. Bye.